we're not going to make it to the wedding because I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I won't make it on time. I don't feel so well. It's extremely cold. I'm having a migraine. I'm feeling worse than I did in the morning, and now I have acidity. It doesn't look good. I want to take everything off.
I don't get why you're panicking.
You know what? I genuinely wish the title of this video was just clickbait or just a way to get you guys to watch this video, but no. I was genuinely regretting not starting with the cake earlier, and by earlier I mean like one day earlier. And also I was like, I kept asking myself, why did I even take on this wedding cake? And honestly, if I didn't have the family I have, I don't know what I would have done, because things kept happening. Like, it was just one thing after another. In case you're new here, hi, my name is Ganache. Welcome back to my channel. I also regret not filming everything like I did for the other wedding cake, which I'll leave a card and the link in the description box. I truly wish I had filmed more than I did, because I kept telling myself, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't care about the video, I don't have time to film, I don't think anyone cares to watch this, I'm making too many mistakes, I should stop filming. And now looking back, I don't even know what I was even panicking about, because it's not the first time I've done this. I guess it was just in my head a lot, and I wish I'd filmed more. But anyway, I want to say a very big thank you to not just my family, but to Say of Say It With Cake, because without her, like, she kept me sane the entire week. Like, I would text her and tell her, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't feel like doing this cake anymore. She's like, why? You've done so many of them before, just do it, just start today, to break it down into these days. Things I've already told myself to do, I was telling her I don't think I'll be able, and she kept like telling me, you can do this, and I did it. So thank you so much, Sir, and nitakubaya kribas. So day one, I only filmed like a very short 5-second clip of me putting my second batch of cakes into the oven, but that's a very repeated process. So I did the same exact thing I did for the other wedding that I filmed. I baked all the cakes, like each batch on its own, weighed them, put them in the oven, and then waited for them to cool for around an hour, and then wrapped them with cling film, and then just popped them into the fridge to like cool completely, and wait for me to decorate them the next day. So we're now on Wednesday. I had to buttercream, crumb coat, and then ganache all my cakes. So I started at around 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. around there. For the giveaway cakes, that's what I started working on. They were all fruit cakes, and I had 6 pieces. So that's what I started with, because I don't find fruit cakes as crumbly as chocolate cakes. Approximately 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to do each of these side cakes, because they were just 2 layers and just 1 crumb coat. As you can see, I'm using glucose syrup to stick my cakes onto their boards, because I learned this from Nelly, that glucose syrup does not move, and for sure my cakes stayed on their boards despite me flipping them to do fondant, traveling with them on Saturday. They were perfectly stable for the entire time. Cake, and I had a 6-inch cake, an 8-inch cake, and a 10-inch cake, which I had to also layer and buttercream and crumb coat. sit in the fridge for about 2 hours before I could start ganaching them. Then in the afternoon, I started doing ganache on the cakes. As you can see, this first one, the first cake I started on, just had disaster. The ganache is peeling off. The buttercream is staying intact, but the ganache is peeling off. And here's where all my panicking began, because I don't know, I feel like I hadn't done ganache in a while, so my brain couldn't process what I'm supposed to do, or I was just genuinely tired that I couldn't think fast. And this is the first jug of hot water that I'm going to work with to like fix the situation. So as much as I love that Wilton scraper, it was just disastrous. It kept on ruining my work, and I've just put it away. And then finally I figured out a working solution, like dip my palette knife into hot water, then scoop out the ganache. You can see I really tried everything with this first cake. I'm now putting my entire ganache in a bowl of hot water. I could have just popped the bowl with ganache into the microwave, but for some reason I wasn't thinking. And then now you can see the cake is much better. I think I felt like I was not able to think, so I stopped filming. And then I remembered I can't remember if it was Ashley or another viewer that said I should stop like deleting every flaw, because it's normal to have mistakes. So I decided to keep filming. So unfortunately, since I decided after I'd already fixed the cake, so the melted ganache worked better, so that's why the cake looks this way. I continue to like smooth out my ganache with all my 3 palette knives, each going into hot water. You can see there's a bubble starting to form. Sometimes it happens, and all I do with it is, when this happens, is just take a skewer and pop it, because where the bubble is, probably that's where 2 layers are. So if I didn't squish my cake enough, there's going to be that. So I pop this where the bubble is, and also the top, just in case there's any built up air. So if there's any more air inside, like between the layers, I've popped the top, so it will come out from there. So at this point, I worked smarter. I just microwaved the whole ganache bowl, and so my cream is now easier to work with. So you can see I can just pour it and like smooth out onto the cake much faster, which is why I don't know why did I not just think of doing this before. My hot water, I just kept dipping my palette knife in hot water, scooping up the ganache. And honestly, if you haven't done this before, do it. It's much faster, it makes it much smoother a process. I still popped them, like dip the skewer into the center just in case there's any air trapped inside. It can just come out while the cakes are chilling. So by this moment I was feeling extremely overwhelmed. This was the first time I started regretting taking up the order, because honestly I hate doing ganache, I hate doing fondant. Not hate, but I'm not so enthusiastic about working with fondant and especially ganaching, because it takes too much time. Sometimes it's just not working in your favor, so I'm not the biggest fan. But yeah, this was the first time I started regretting, like not starting on Monday instead of starting on Tuesday, because as you can see, I'm so hunched over. My back was hurting, my brain was, I was feeling so stressed out, and I kept telling myself if I had started on Monday, I would have baked on Monday, done buttercream on Tuesday, and done ganache on Wednesday. But now I've had to do, because did I make them? Yeah, I made the buttercream on Wednesday morning, yeah, at maybe 9 a.m. and then that's when I finished making the buttercream is when I started making the after I finished making the buttercream, that's when I started layering and crumb coating the cakes. And then when those were in the fridge, I started making the ganache. And then it got to a point where I was like, you know what, I definitely should have started on Monday, because if I baked on Monday, Tuesday would have just been nothing but buttercream, then Wednesday would have been nothing but ganache, and then maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't have started feeling like I won't make it, I won't be on time. And I remember on Tuesday my sister called me for something, and when I told her I can't talk on the phone because I'm baking, she was like, is it not too early? And I was like, is it too early? Will I have baked too early? But then on Wednesday, by Wednesday afternoon, I was like, I should have definitely started on Monday instead of Tuesday. But anyway, spilt milk again, so we made it, yay. After my hunching, I told myself I'll take a short caffeine break, but a short 30-minute break ended up being a short rest for like 3 hours, because 3 or 4 hours actually, no, 3 hours, 3 hours, because I told myself I'll take a break at like 3 p.m. and then I just decided to keep being on break. Next day it was 6 p.m. and that's when I went back to the kitchen. But you know what, thank God, because I was truly tired, and so I just went back at like 6 p.m. worked till either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. because now I was working much slower, and then showing all the cakes ganache. Good morning. Today is Thursday and today is fondant day. I'm supposed to make fondant today and then cover the cakes with fondant today, and honestly I don't think I'm going to finish covering all the cakes today because I'm feeling a little overwhelmed from working yesterday and the day before. Today I'm going to make fondant, which technically I should have made yesterday, but then I got so tired while doing the ganaching, so I didn't end up making the fondant. So today I'm going to make the fondant and cover the cakes with fondant. I'll cover as many as I possibly can today, and then whatever I'm not able to do today, I'm going to do tomorrow. Yeah, because I don't want to push myself too much and end up feeling even more overwhelmed than I already feel right now. So I'm going to break my work into two. If I end up doing today and tomorrow, well and good. If I don't end up feeling too tired, I'm just going to finish today and call it a week, and then for tomorrow I'll just be doing like technically final touches. Yeah, so let's go make fondant together. Splitting my fondant into two because I needed one marbled and the other one to be a navy-ish blue. So here I'm just working on my blue ones. I'm paneling. I figured paneling would be much faster for these blue ones, so there I go. I did 3 cakes in this color and then 3 in the marbled one. This first cake, since the cakes had been in the fridge overnight, I decided to just use condensation to stick the fondant onto the cake, which usually works, but it's been extremely cold in Nairobi, so obviously the room temp isn't as high as it usually is, so obviously my cake will take longer for condensation to happen. And so for the first one, it took me a bit longer to put fondant on it. It was taking me approximately 15-20. For the first one I think I took a whole half hour or less, maybe 20 minutes for the first one, but the others took a much shorter time because I worked smarter, not harder. I steamed the cakes with the steamer, so the fondant was just slapping itself onto the ganache, so I didn't have to struggle. If I could turn back time, I would have factored in the weather and used the steamer from the beginning, because it took me way too long to do this first one, which shouldn't have been the case. And obviously if I take too long on one thing, my mood was just starting to like shift, because I kept feeling like I won't make it on time, I won't make it on time, I won't make it on time. Giveaway cakes, the ones that I will marble. it's not very clear, you can see this cake, I steamed it before I placed the ganache on it. And honestly, like being very like honest, here's another regret. I rolled out my fondant and then steamed the cake, which of course my fondant is gonna be a little bit harder to work with, but it worked out. So thankfully, because yeah, but that's something else I should have really thought about, like steam the cake then start rolling out the fondant. But I only did this mistake on one piece. The other marbled cakes, I definitely steamed, then put them close to me and then worked on them. If you'd like me to post a video on how like a proper tutorial for how I ganache and fondant my cakes, just let me know in the comments down below. Camera, either the battery died or the card was full, and since I was on a roll, I just didn't bother filming further. Good morning from Friday. So today I don't feel so well. It's extremely cold. I'm having a migraine and I'm suspecting it's because of the weather. Option B, it's not the weather and it's just me being extremely nervous and my brain has given me a headache. But anyways, we move on. Yesterday I didn't manage to finish all the cakes, but it's fine. I did 6 of 9, so today I have to do 3 cakes only, and the 3 cakes I have to do is the main cake, the 3 pieces, the 3-tier cake, and what else do I need to do today? I have another cake for another client going tomorrow, and pack for the wedding basically. So technically I'm almost done. Hopefully I won't have to work slower because I truly don't feel so great, but I've taken meds, so I guess I'll be okay. I don't know if I'll film today because I feel like I don't want to do too much. I don't want to focus on the video and also focus on the cakes. I just want to work peacefully so that hopefully everything goes smoothly. I don't have to keep thinking or using my brain more than I need to, so that my headache can genuinely subside as fast as it possibly can. But yes, I will check back in either when I'm done decorating the cakes or tomorrow as I'm going for delivery. I don't know, we'll see how I feel end of the workday. So see ya. Here is me at 4 p.m. So all that was left was putting this small Bliss and Forever cake at the top. It's now I think 4 p.m. around there, and I'm feeling worse than I did in the morning. In the morning I just had a migraine and now I have acidity as well. So I'm thinking it's the nerves, but I've decided to leave the house so that I can hopefully stop thinking about the cakes and see if I'll feel better. So that's where we are, but I've definitely finished all the work I needed to finish today. I've even almost technically packed, so tomorrow hopefully nothing goes wrong because it's just delivery that's left. Right after I filmed that good morning Friday intro bit, that's when I started feeling much worse, and I was not just feeling, I didn't just have a migraine, I started feeling like I had acidity, and I started thinking it's because maybe I took meds on an empty stomach, but I don't know. But after some time I started, like I was looking at my cakes and I'm like, I don't like it, because you can see while I'm talking in the background there's like vinegar. I was painting the gold lines onto the cake before I picked up my camera because I had woken up a little early. So I was having breakfast, I'm looking at my cakes, I'm like, I truly don't like them. I don't know what was going through my head the entire time. I kept thinking, it doesn't look good. I want to take everything off. Like, so I had told myself, once I finish on the main cake, if I truly don't end up liking it, I'm just going to take it all off and start over again. So, and I remember my assistant Maggie was telling me, like, inakaa vizuri, it looks so good, like, stop looking at those cakes. And in my head I'm like, I'll see. So when I finished working on the wedding cake, like, yeah, to the point where you see me filming that short clip on the table, I decided to just go work on the other cake, the cake that was due on Saturday. And the entire time while I'm working on that one, I keep telling myself, yeah, I think I'm going to remove those marbled cakes. I'm going to start over again. I kept telling myself that in my head, and I know, like, Maggie had been telling me it looks good, but I was like, you know what, she's not going to talk me into it. I don't like it. I'm going to take everything off. I'm going to start over again. And then she asked me, like, out of the blue, what if you take it off and you hate it even more? What will you do? I'm like, well, we'll see when we get there, but let me finish working on this one and then I'll see. And then my mom called me randomly, like after I just told Maggie, we'll see. My mom just called me to tell me something, I don't remember what. And then when I went to hang up, she's like, oh, Nani kuulize, let me ask you, are you the one who's made those cakes? I'm like, yeah, why? So in my head, I'm like, my mom and my sister don't like to be, like, they won't tell me it looks good if it doesn't. They will tell me, like, you tried, but you didn't do it too well, so is it possible to change? So when she asked me if it's me who's made them, my first thought was, yeah, my mom doesn't like them. Why would she be asking me that question? So I'm like, yeah, why? I think they're so good. How do you, like, I thought you used them. Did you use your hands? I'm like, yeah. You did those cakes yourself? I'm like, yeah, why? The whole thing, I'm like, yeah, why? Like, you didn't use any machine to make them. I'm like what? So my mom is like, they're so good. They don't look like it's me who's made them. I'm like, really? Like, are you seeing what I'm saying? My mom is like, yeah, they look so good. Like, if it had been done, like, from outside, if you'd come home with them and then I saw them, no one would make me believe it's you. I'm like, okay, thank you. And I think that's the first time I walked, because I was talking to her while I'm outside. I walked back in and I was like, maybe it looks good. Maybe it's just genuinely all in my head. So that's what I decided. Let me put the flowers and then see if I end up, like, not starting to have vision. When I talked to my mom and then I set up the flowers, that's what I started saying, okay, it's not so bad. But I remember telling Maggie, you know what, I think what I should do is leave the house, because once I go outside, once, like, my focus isn't inside the house, maybe when I'm out there and come back home, I'll see it, like, with fresh eyes, and then I won't be thinking about the cake the way negatively. And also, it was also a way for me to see if my acidity and my headache were caused by the cake or I was genuinely feeling it. Good morning. It's delivery day and I was right. Yesterday I was just feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling a lot better. So I was definitely just overwhelmed yesterday. So yeah, it's currently 9 a.m. and I need to go deliver the cake at, I'm guessing, by 11:30, because the reception is from 12:30 and I don't know if it's Kenyan time or actual 12:30. So since my house to the venue is approximately 15 minutes if there's no traffic max, but I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to 45 minutes to get to the venue and maybe 30 minutes for setup. So if it's by 12:30, I want to be out of the house between 10:30 and 11, basically. So let's go load up the car and then get ready to the venue and set up. See ya. Aki, please pick up. Why would you not be picking and you know I'm waiting? At this point, I feel like I had jinxed myself because the previous day as I was leaving the house, I said, hopefully on tomorrow nothing goes wrong. And something did go wrong. Nothing happened with the cake, thankfully, but my uncle was supposed to come pick me up. We go to the wedding together because it's a family wedding. So some of my cousins were coming over to get ready at my house, and then we all live together. And he was telling me, I'll be there by 10. If you guys are not ready at 10, I'm leaving you, because he wants, while I'm setting up, he goes to church. Immediately after I filmed that saying, let's go load up the car, it was 9 a.m. Like, I think it was a few minutes to 9. I was talking to my dad before he left, and he's like, since you're bringing cake, do you have to come at 10? I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be late considering the reception and the church are in the same grounds. I'd rather not start setting up. Like, I'd be setting up while people are leaving the church or while people are getting ready to start eating. I want to set up early. He's like, the cake won't melt. I'm like, no. Considering it's not sunny, it will be fine. He's like, okay, but I'm thinking you should leave the house at 11. I think he knew something was going to happen about leaving at 11. My cousins are like, he won't be on time. And me, I'm like, nah. The last wedding we went to together, since he knows I'm delivering the cake and he knows how freaked out I get, there's no way my uncle is going to be late. I called him. I called him from 10 to noon. He's not picking. At that point, my head is just saying, we're not going to make it to the wedding. I'd texted one of my cousins and told her, text me when church starts and when church is about to end, so that if I'm not at the venue by that time, I know I'm going to run late. My cousin didn't text me when church had started, so she forgot, which is fine. But then at around 11:45, 11:50, she texted me and she's like, hey, church is about to end. She called, I think. Church is about to end. Have you finished setting up? I'm like, I'm leaving the house now, but I'll be there in like 10 minutes. She's like, okay, no problem. But we try calling my uncle again, and that's when now I go start loading the car, like putting the cakes in the car. I called him, and in my head I'm like, he's either in church, he forgot to pass by and pick us up, or he came by the house and we didn't hear him and he's left, or sir, something is wrong. And my cousins are like, just drive. But here's my thing with driving. I'm already so worried about the wedding cake, and well, I self-reflected onto why I'm always so scared about delivering wedding cakes. And then I remembered when I started baking for my first wedding, someone told me, like when I was seeking advice on what to do, what not to do, one of the ladies told me, Ati, one of your wedding cakes is bound to fall. Like, while you're driving to the venue, something bad is bound to happen to your wedding cake. And I think I internalized that thought, and ever since, I've been so scared because my brother I've been dropped for weddings by everyone. I've been dropped to weddings by friends, I've been dropped by Ubers, I've been dropped by my uncle, my dad, my brother. Basically, anyone who knows me has taken me to deliver a wedding cake. somehow. Even when I'm taking an Uber, I never go by myself. I always go me and my cousin. Like, me and a friend. I'm always so scared. Once we get to the venue, something wrong is going to happen. In one of the clips, you'll hear my cousin asking me, I don't even get why you're panicking. But I'm panicking because someone told me something wrong. Something is definitely going to go wrong while you're delivering one of your wedding cakes. But I think I internalized that. And now looking back, there was nothing to really be worried about. And you know what? God takes care of me, because my uncle, he didn't just not decide not to pick me up. He was unwell. He had a bad cold, which I think God didn't want me to get, because Mimi na homa, not friends. So the thing he'd done was, you know how, is it cold cap or Panadol? The cold medicine has meds for daytime and a pill for nighttime. He took the pill for nighttime in the morning. So he just told himself, let me lie down for a few minutes, for like an hour or two, and then I'll wake up and go. Woke up at 4 p.m. My uncle was waking up when the wedding was ending. Since nothing bad happened while I was delivering, now I think I've gotten rid of that. This was when my cousin was giving me a pep talk, because I was panicking. Like, I was just genuinely mad at everyone. Once we got to the wedding, we were so late, because we got there at maybe 12:15, 12:20. So in my head I was like, because we could hear the church, like, guys are shangiliaing, celebrating. So I was like, the wedding is over, guys are about to start getting out of church. So me and my cousin started rushing, like, to set up, which thankfully they were there, because I don't think I would have even one piece of footage from then. So we're placing the cakes. Another one of my cousins who bakes as well, she came and started helping me, like, put up the flowers. My other cousins at that time, well, me, I'm setting up. One of my cousins took my phone and she was filming, like, these short clips, and then the other one took the camera and was taking photos. And you know what? I'm so grateful to have such a family who like, oh, we are late, let's do this. Like, as I said in the other video, I'm surrounded by such supportive people, and thank God, because they did help me out. I would have probably panicked so much that something would probably have gone wrong, but they helped me out. They did everything I possibly could have done by myself that I wasn't thinking of doing. How panicked, like, I hadn't calmed down, my adrenaline hadn't gone down. So I was showing my cousin how my cousin was telling me she doesn't get why I'm panicking. I was showing her how much I'm still shaking despite us already being done with setting up. And here's the cake finally done. Back. I'm happy she told me to do that. That's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're not going to internalize bad advice like I did, and I hope everything works out better for you guys when you're doing your weddings. The only advice I'll tell you is, if you think you can work better if you start a day earlier, start a day earlier. Don't be like me who thought maybe it's too early to start. Because even now as I'm talking, honestly, if I could have started on Sunday, I would have started on Sunday. Because I'm just thinking, I could have made my fondant maybe Sunday, my ganache on Sunday, my buttercream on Sunday. If I'd done those on Sunday, Monday bake, Tuesday buttercream, the cakes, Wednesday ganache, the cakes, Thursday start fondanting, I would have been done much earlier and life would have been much easier. But you know what? Probably not. Knowing me, I would have added one more worry to myself. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.